couple people have asked me what's going on back there. What are all the computers for? What are they and all the rest? So I figured I'd get into that a little bit today. Main computer. I want to start on this side. Are you guys interested in this? I hope you guys are interested in it. Should be interesting. Should be entertaining. Let me slide out of the way here. All right. That computer over there is my main editing computer. It is about 2 years old, if I'm not mistaken. I've done some rebuilds to it and some different things as technology has changed and whatnot. That is running an AMD 5900X. That is the processor. That is the water cooling bank that is cooling the processor that you see over there. That is 64 gigabytes of Trident RAM running at 4200 megahertz, if you want to get all geeky about it. It's got fans all over the place. That is a 1200 watt power supply, powering the whole thing. That is another water cooler that is water cooling my video card, my graphics card, which is that big chunk over there, which is a EVGA GeForce RTX 2080 Ti. Now, someone might say, if you know your stuff, oh, why don't you move up to a 3080 or a 4080 or a 4090 Ti? I just haven't seen a reason to. Editing wise, if I'm rendering out, say, like a half hour 4K, if it takes a half hour on that, because the 2080 is a powerful ass card, it's 12 gigabytes, it would take, half hour. If I got a 3080, it would take like 28 minutes. If I got a 480, it would take like 26 minutes, 25 minutes and 4 seconds. I'm not going to go out and spend like $1,500 to save 3 minutes. I mean, it's at a price point now where it just does not pay to spend more money. That card's running great. I take it apart. I put thermal grease in it once in a while. It's only like 3 years old, but it runs like a champ. And that thing is powering 3 monitors, which are behind me. These are my main editing monitors over here. These are 4K monitors, so I see everything in 4K. If I happen to be editing a 4K, sometimes I tweak them down to like 2K if I'm not editing in 4K. Gives me a little less real estate, but I find it a little easier on the eyes. I can sit back a little bit. So that is the editing rig. I have a set of Audio-Technica studio headsets so I can hear my sound properly, and this Bang & Olufsen, you can't see the other one, but you might see the one in the corner. There's a set of Bang & Olufsen studio monitors, and a studio monitor is the same thing as a speaker, but it's called a studio monitor. It is flat sounding. That way I could tell the highs, the lows. Excuse me. If I want to put a little more bass, I don't want, like, if I got like a set of Sonys for like $99, those are like 600. If I got a pair of Sonys for like $99, they build bass into it. So I'd be like, oh, okay, let me put a little, I don't know if I'm putting the bass, if the speakers are putting the bass. Some speakers have treble. Studio monitor speakers are flat. That way, if you put an adjustment into them, you know what you're getting. And so they're not the best for listening to music, nor are those headsets, but they're flat. That way I can make the music the way I want to hear it, not the way the speaker company wants me to hear it. That over there is, am I pointing properly? I can't tell. That over there is strictly a business computer. And I like that's the Star Trek, it's that USB. It's okay. That is the Star Trek bio bed from the original series. I'm a Star Trek person. That is my business computer. That is tied into a monster of a laptop, which you see underneath over here. That is a backup that is dedicated just to that. That backup is tied into a, let's see, 32 gigabyte NAS drive, which is behind that wall over there. So it's redundant backup. Then it goes up to the cloud because I don't want to lose nothing. These computers here, those don't go on the internet unless they have to. Not that, I mean, computer viruses really don't even exist anymore. But that's what I do my communication on. There's a distinct difference between the two. These are for work, those are for streaming, and that is communications. So if I'm sending a bill, I'm getting my emails, I want to check out something online, that all takes place over there. That is an additional microphone. I got routers over there. All right, let's swing over to this side. Let's see. Okay, now you see, I think this is in the way. That monitor, that is another 4K monitor. That is what I do like if I pop, that's one of the softwares that's actually running the show at the moment. But I have it on this screen. All right, so that's another 4K monitor. That's how I judge the lights, how I look. The sound is over there. Speaking of sound, let me get a little closer to this mic. And I do other stuff on there, but that's a reference monitor. That's a super high quality monitor right there. I think it's a Dell something. That's the music service I'm running. That's being powered by this computer, which does have a 3080 mobile Ti, which is a freaking beast. So that graphics card is actually more powerful than that one, but the processor on that one's actually more powerful. So everything's being streamed off of that laptop. Again, I got a backup for this one, constantly running, doing incrementals. It backs up to the NAS that's on the other side of that wall. If you want to geek out some more, this is my, then I have another laptop over here that's powering, that's my feed. So that way we can see whatever I feel like showing over there off that laptop. Then I have another monitor over there. That's a reference one. That way I can tell that the show is going smooth and everything's cool. What I do need to do, however, because I thought when I did the studio, my envisionment was it would be easier for me to interact with you, being that I'm not walking around, I'm not tripping over my own feet and, you know, fighting the sun, fighting weirdos and all the rest of that. Oh, and those two computers, I forgot to call them out. Those are Sagers. If you're familiar with Sager, it's sort of I wouldn't say build your own, but you can spec them out. They're absolute freaking beasts. Those are two Sager laptops. And that one is, what the heck is it? It's something. I forgot what I think it's an Asus or whatever. But I thought it would be easier to communicate. And what I found out is it's probably more challenging for me to see the chat and keep up on the chat than when I'm actually walking around the strip. And that sort of blew my mind. So what I think I'm going to do, because I got my iPad over here and I almost pulled the plug out. I got my iPad over here. So I got the chat running. Wireless monitor would be boss. I could see the chat over there. I could blow up the chat over there. I have my phone over here, but they're all at a distance where I got to go like this. You know, I could see Joe Q in the house. I could see stuff over there. I could do the same thing as when I'm live, or I can turn the camera and glance over here and look to see what's going on. Like I can pull up the chat right now if I wanted to. And I got it blown up to 150. Now I can read it from here, but I'm losing eye contact. Like Angie says, I'm going to make sure my passport never expires. You know, I can see it. You going to the strip? Who's going to the strip on Friday? You like the studio, Maria? See, I could see. life is a blast, Sylvia. It really freaking is, regardless of the ups and downs. But yeah, I can see all the stuff's over there taking place, but it's far away. Like from my eyeballs to where that is, the closest way I can see it is that's 3 or 4 feet away. I got good eyesight, thank God, but I cannot see that the way I would like to. So my next mission is to, that was my green screen wall on the other side of this camera. What I'm gonna do is probably buy or look in Facebook Marketplace or something like that and find a used 55-inch or whatever and take one of the outputs on one of these Sagers and pump the comments to a 55-inch minimum TV, because that's, again, the wall behind me is probably like 8 feet away. So 7 feet away. So that way I could see comments as I'm doing this, because it's beat. You know, I want the interaction. I want to see what you guys are talking about. I want to see when you ask me questions. Although I do have an Ask Me Anything segment, but we're not doing it right now. So I think that's going to be the next enhancement. I'm going to have to figure out how to mount it on the wall and run the cables through the ceiling, whatever, because I don't like cables on the floor and all that other shit. That way I can kind of, like, I can interact with you here, because I like this as my main angle. See, I screwed up. See, I was supposed to be addressing that one. I was addressing this one. I like this one as my main angle. I like this as my secondary angle when, let's get that out of my face. I like that as the secondary angle, but I do like this as the main angle. It's a little more comfortable, so I think I am going to put it on the other side. See, without that reference monitor, I didn't even know I was on the wrong camera there for a second.
Check it out, make sure it sound right, boys.